Personal story segment tonight. A few days ago, we did a story about the food stamp fraud in the USA. As part of that story, we featured Jason the surfer. There he is, young man, healthy, gets thousands of dollars worth of food stamps every year, even while he surfs all day long. He doesn't care about working. And here's what I said about it. This guy is a parasite. And my contention is that the Obama administration is encouraging parasites to come out and, take as much as they can with no remorse. And this is how a country declines. This is how we become a weak nation. So that was a pretty clear statement about Jason the surfer and the failure of the federal government to regulate who gets entitlements from the taxpayer, right? Pretty straightforward. Here's how Al Sharpton spun it.
Bill O'Reilly has gone back to one of his favorite talking points, attacking the poor. Here's his latest rant about people on food stamps. Parasites. The poor are parasites. We've heard these kinds of attacks before.
Sharpton obviously taking my comments totally out of context, not even mentioning Jason the surfer, and basically not telling the truth once again. The guy does this all the time. And here's the crusher on Sharpton. He's been portraying me as a racist and a brutalizer of the poor. A few years ago, Sharpton told me that his charity in Harlem, New York, was out of money and that it could not provide Christmas presents and Christmas dinners to hundreds of poor people in Harlem. So I gave Sharpton a $25,000 donation to provide the gifts and the food. I never mentioned it because it wasn't necessary to mention it. But now it is, to prove exactly what kind of person Al Sharpton is. On to the larger issue. Last night we reported that Oprah Winfrey was annoyed that she was treated disrespectfully in a Swiss shop. Ms. Winfrey believes her skin color was the reason a clerk refused to show her an expensive purse. I said that Oprah has a perfect right to speak out against that kind of conduct, but that her words might well be used by the grievance industry to spread hopelessness and give minority folks an excuse to fail. If you don't make it in America, it's because of skin color. Of course, Oprah is one of the most successful people in this country. Now, we got a ton of mail on that segment. I want to read some of it to you now. Ron Bella, Centennial, Colorado. One should not project their own prejudices and insecurities into the motives of other people, including clerks in Switzerland. Your analysis is somewhat out of context, Ron. Based upon a historical experience, it's logical that people of color would be sensitive to slights. But as I said, the wise thing to do is ignore them unless they directly harm you. Garrick Sobel, Huntington Beach, California. Bill, Oprah played the race card and you fell for it. The Swiss story was not racist. How could you possibly know that, Garrett? You weren't there. The clerk denies any racist intent, but nobody knows what's in her heart. Melanie Cohen, Tel Aviv, Israel. Remember the scene in Pretty Woman where Julia Roberts was refused service by a snobby clerk? Every day, all of us are subject to this kind of thing. Andy Bales, Marysville, Tennessee. I'm a white man from the mountains of Tennessee. For my job, I have to attend board meetings in New York City. You should see the faces when my accent is on display. Bill Pappas, Palmdale, California. You are so right, O'Reilly. We should all ignore troglodytes like you. Well, thanks for advancing the dialogue, Bill. The point is that minorities in America do have it tougher than whites. But everybody gets hit by stupidity. If you want to succeed, you go around the morons, unless you can right the wrong, which is rare because misguided people rarely admit their circumstance. Oprah Winfrey is a major role model for black Americans, especially women, and she does a nice job with that. But I'm sure she knows that some are selling victimhood, which doesn't help anyone. I'm not saying Oprah did that, but I'm glad I got the opportunity to make that point. Coming next is a fact that